All right, welcome back to Yoga with Tim. Today we're going to work on the preparations for Pincha Mayurasana, which is forearm balance. So I don't expect you to be able to do forearm balance, but we're going to work on laying the foundation. So the first thing that we need to be able to do is to hold our arms in external rotation, which is tricky. So in the seated position, put your arms out in front of you, then bend your elbows. Nice. Okay, then turn your palms forward. Good. Okay, so now Stacy's already got her arms in pretty good external rotation, but your arm might want to roll in like this. So what I want you to do is to roll from your inner arm to your outer arm. Turn from up here in the socket. Then let me see if you can spread your collarbones wider so that the arm bones sit into the socket without leaning back at all. Turn from those upper arms. Okay, if that's going pretty well, then I think today's class will go pretty well for you. Bring your arms down and take child's pose. Let yourself get centered in your child's pose. 5 breaths there. Then downward facing dog, 5 breaths there. Then walk your hands all the way back to your feet and fold forward at the back of your mat, Uttanasana. How many breaths? You guessed it, 5 breaths. Press into your feet and come up to stand. Walk to the top of your mat. With your feet together, join your palms together, close your eyes, center yourself, balance over your feet evenly. Balance in between the heels and the toe mountains so you're not leaning forward or back. Balance in between the inner and the outer feet. Allow for some swaying. You don't have to be rigid. Then open your eyes and release your arms to your side. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, Ardha. Step back one leg at a time into plank pose. For this first round, set your knees down and lower to chaturanga, keeping the collarbones broad and the arms externally rotate as you lower. Then lift back up, pause, and lie all the way down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra. Turn the thighs into neutral by rolling the inner thigh up to the ceiling, the outer thigh down. Turn the inner arm to the outer arm. And then press into up dog without the shoulders rolling in. Like we practiced yesterday, the more you push with your arms, the more your shoulders will roll in. Instead, roll the inner shoulder to the outer shoulder, the inner arm to the outer arm. And roll the chest through. Then stretch back to down dog. Step your right foot up by your right thumb. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips. As you reach back to your left inner heel, get length. Then step your back foot forward and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold deeper. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Raise your arms up. Exhale, the hands to your heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Ardha, flat back. Step back one leg at a time into plank pose. Then shift forward and lower slowly. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot all the way up by your left thumb. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips and lengthen. Exhale, step your back foot forward and fold forward, Uttanasana. Reach down through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Raise your arms up. Exhale the hands to your heart. Sorry. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot up to your right thumb. Then come up onto your fingertips and find length again. Float your arms back behind you. Turn your inner arms to your outer arms. Roll your chest open. Then set your left hand down and twist. Take your right arm up. As you're twisting, your right outer hip draws back. Reach the heart forward. Then bring your right hand down. Step your back foot a little bit closer and straighten your right leg out as best you can. Inhale up onto your fingertips, get longer. Just hold here in the flat back position. Then as you go to ground your back heel for warrior one, start to bend your right knee over your ankle. Still keep that length in your spine and reach both your sit bones straight back behind you. Then lift up from your belly, come up strong through the midline, warrior one. Good. Turn from the triceps, outer arms forward. Then bring your hands back down to the mat and step back, plank pose. Take a vinyasa or just glide back to down dog smooth. Then step your left foot up by your left thumb. Come up onto your fingertips, find length. Then float your arms back behind you. When the arms go back, two things will want to happen. The hip will want to twist out, the chest will want to sink. Instead, draw your left outer hip back, reach your heart forward, get longer. Then set your right hand down and twist. As you're twisting, lengthen through the midline, which is something that we learned, which is the thing that you were practicing earlier in the challenge. Like there's a line down the middle of your mat and you're trying to lengthen your spine along it. Bring your left hand down, step your back foot a little bit closer as you straighten out your left leg as best you can. Then come back up onto those fingertips and get that spine to lengthen. Remember, you can always use blocks if it's not enough on the fingertips. A mirror can help to tell you what's happening with your spine. If your spine's hunched over, use blocks, use a chair. Okay, now prepare for warrior one. So set up the back heel, bend the left knee. As you bend the knee, the left hip will want to come out to the side again. Stretch both sit bones straight back by hugging the hip in, then come on up through the midline. Nice, great job. Bring your hands back down, step back, plank pose. Hold in your plank or take a vinyasa, your call. Bend your knees, look forward, jumper step up to the front. Inhale, Ardha. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees and sit your hips back. Hold in your chair. Now, I just want to give one last reminder. We've talked about this the last couple days, but doing vinyasa yoga, doing anything repetitively puts the body at risk, especially the shoulder and the lower back when you're doing vinyasa yoga. So make sure that you're modifying. If it's too much too soon, if you're new, we're starting to pick up the practice. It's getting more intense. So please modify if you need to. If you're feeling any things in your shoulders or lower backs, skip vinyasas, just go right back to down dog instead of doing them. Come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale into chair pose. Sun salute B just one time. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step the left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, now from down dog, set your left knee down and open up into side plank. So real important that as you're pushing into your left hand, bring your right hand to your hip for a second to really focus on your left arm, that you can roll from this left inner arm to the outer arm, inner shoulder to the outer shoulder without locking your elbow, without hyperextending it. Stretch the left hand evenly, push through all the knuckles. Keep rotating that shoulder. Now let me see if you can stretch your left leg out behind your right without the shoulder rolling in. It'll want to turn in. Did it happen? Roll that inner shoulder to the outer shoulder. Lean your head back into alignment with your spine. Then take your right arm up. Good. Stretch back to down dog. Change sides. Right knee down. Left arm up. Inner shoulder to outer shoulder. Then hand on your hip. My bad. Push through all the knuckles. Then stretch your right leg out behind your left without that shoulder rolling in. It takes strength in your core. It takes strength in your shoulder. Good. Then arm up if you can. And downward facing dog, reach back. Nice. Set the knees down, and if you have a strap, we're gonna do a strap for this next thing. So the strap is you're gonna adjust it so it's shoulder distance apart. To measure it, you just put your fingers in between and measure from your shoulder to your shoulder with your fingers. I think that should probably be good for you. Let's see. Okay, the strap is dual purpose. Put your elbows down onto the mat and put a block in between your hands now with the thumbs pointing up. Now the block is not appropriate for everybody. If you have broad shoulders, you might need like a block and a quarter or a block and a half, but that's too much for you. I think that one's good. Okay, so the strap is dual purpose. A, it's gonna keep your elbows in so they don't wing out. But the main reason you're using the strap is to feel the rotation of the upper arm bones. So you could feel the arm muscle along this outer band of the strap. And you want to feel that you're filling the inner arm into this little band of the strap. So it feels even, the inner arm and the outer arm, against this little ring here. Okay, how does that feel, Stacy? Pretty even? It looks even. Is it too tight? No. Okay, so maintaining that, curl your toes under and lift your knees, lift your hips. But make sure that you're turning those biceps still into that ring of the strap, and then press your forearms down like your forearms are karate chopping into the mat. Also, release these blades out of your ears and pretend like I have my knee in your upper back. Don't let it round. Then see if you can walk your feet in a little closer without losing all that stuff. If you lose anything in the base, the forearm, the upper arm bone, or the shoulder blades, upper spine, then you have to back off. You don't want to add on when you lose the base, because it's all about that base. Okay. Now take your right leg up from the inner thigh, as long as you don't lose the base. Keep the forearms even, keep the arms rotated, keep the blades out of the ears and the upper spine moving, tailbone up. Then change legs. Keep lifting that tailbone. Keep lifting that tailbone. Lower that leg back down. Then set your knees down, take a breath. That's awful, I know, because I do it sometimes. So hard to do all that really well. Let's practice it one more time unless you just need to chill out. If you need to chill out, take child's. Otherwise, let's get ready to rumble one more time. Press the forearms down, turn the inner arms to the outer arms, curl the toes under and lift the knees, hips up. Good. Blades look good. Upper spine looks good. Now raise the left leg up. Remember, as you press the arms, you don't want to hunch the back. We learned that yesterday. Change legs, right leg up from the inner thigh, even on those forearms. Good. Now kick up and balance. No, I'm kidding. Don't. All right, lower your foot down. Maybe in the Patreon videos, after you sign up for Patreon, you get to learn all that. Set the knees down and sit back. Okay, then release the strap from your arms and take child's pose now. Just let yourself rest. Okay, good. Okay, then come into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx, this can be kind of gnarly on your lower back. If it's too much, you can walk the elbows forward more so that you're not as an extreme of a back bend. Okay, then bend your right knee, bring your heel towards your butt, and reach back with your hand for your foot or your ankle. As long as that's too much on your knee or your lower back. So when you bring the leg up behind you like this, it'll make your lower back want to dip. Somebody commented on last week's video when we were doing this one, they're like, is Stacy dipping forward too much in her middle? And I was like, dude, just chill out on Stacy. Don't be such a hater. She's doing stuff pretty good. But yeah, the more you have a leg behind you, the more you'll want to dip your spine forward to compensate. But hers looked pretty okay. That looked really good, actually. Okay, change sides. Right elbow down, bend your left knee, and just feel when that knee comes in, the lower back wants to hang into the floor. So then take that curve of your lower back and take it up your spine more into your upper back. Lift your belly up. And that should feel pretty good. Like it helps you to get out of the sinking quality. Like we all are going to burn out sometime in our life, depending on what age, at this part in our back. Here or somewhere up here where the spine changes direction. So when we're learning back bends, we want to lift through those places so we're not hanging into them. Release that. And then up dog, hands by your waist, roll through. One of the more common things that I see, especially on Instagram, is people doing these really gnarly back bends all in their lower back. And I'm like, that's only going to last for a couple more years before you burn that thing out. Down dog, stretch back. So the spine isn't meant to do that, to bend only from the lower back. It'll burn out real quick. So make sure that when you're practicing your back bends, you're trying to teach the whole spine to move. Okay, then set your knees down and come to seated position. Then from your seat, we're going to go into Bharadvadrasana. Sweep your feet over to the left and twist to your right. This is one of my probably my favorite seated twists. Come back to center and change sides. Come back to center, then cross your legs in front of you and fold forward. If possible, rest your head on a block or on the floor if you're very flexible. If you're not so flexible, chair or scaffolding, something you could rest your head on too. Then change sides, change the cross of your legs. Then come back up and lie down onto your back for corpse pose. Let the palms turn up at your side. Just relax now. So no more effort, no more doing, just practice being. Allow things to be. Let the thoughts come and go. Don't try to resist the thoughts. But shift your focus to your breath. And let each breath, especially the out breath, draw you in. Then gently bend your knees and roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Sit tall with the chest open. Namaste. All right, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.